As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. A nice Chianti.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I'm your host, Josh G, and we are back with the first episode of the new year, so please welcome the regulars, Chad. And Chris. No, that's pretty good, Chad. Chris, what do you got? You gonna match that?
No, I have no idea. No. No, I'll pass.
Little horn toot. All right, guys, we're here kicking off the new year with some top lists, and we're going to kick it off with the best from this past year, 2022.
That's usually for the end, Chad.
Chad's like, fuck it, the show's done. I'm done. I'm ending it now. Less than a minute in, it's over.
Late night shows where they have like this segment we like to call, blah, 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 you know, whatever, and it's like plays a little tune. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Well, that is the tune. That's just the end tune, Chad.
That's the only tune I have.
You've established that as our end tune.
Musical tunes.
Maybe you could have done the again or something.
So for a peek behind the curtain, we had actually tried to record this a little earlier, and this is take 2, and hopefully we get through it this time. But we had a conversation. I don't want that to be missed. So let's talk about the streamers versus theatrical, where you're at on streaming at home, and also how that plays into your rankings. Like, do you count streamers as legit movies? Because I think at this point you have to.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was, before we were brutally interrupted by this storm and everything, I basically was just saying that I think with things are just so different because when the pandemic hit, it slowed down everything. And it also forced a lot of people to watch things at home and become also more comfortable with their viewing pleasures at home, because then they don't have to worry about some of the stress that comes with going to the movie theater as well. So there's that one aspect. And then I think also just movies in general, the business is maybe still trying to catch up in terms of doing maybe the workload they're used to doing, and they're not quite able to do that yet because we're not technically out of the pandemic. I mean, we still have it around, it's still there, but it's just it's interesting in that regard. And then of course we talked about how the movie theaters are a little more expensive these days, especially with getting concessions and
getting a movie
and a movie ticket
in theaters. If you're a movie studio or distributor or whatever, like, it's just hard to get your movies in theaters nowadays.
Yep.
Because obviously people want to make sure that movies that go there are going to make the money that they're hoping it'll make.
Yeah.
And sometimes
that's the thing, it's not
just to put a movie out on streaming services where people are going to watch it, because people aren't going to flock to the theaters to see it. They're certainly going to find ways to get it digitally.
Yeah, people can wait for it
or whatever.
People have learned to have patience, because the thing is, like, a lot of movies don't stay in theaters very long, like they used to way back when. So people are just kind of learn to, like, no,
DVDs
I can wait.
Blu-rays don't sell like they used to anymore either.
That's the thing. People will wait for either the physical releases or ready for the video on demand releases or whatever. Or one of the streaming platforms to pick it up and release it. So I think people have a little more patience with stuff like that. And then I think the theaters, I mean, a lot of them have also now closed down. I don't think a lot of people have come back to the movie theaters once the pandemic hit. I just don't think everyone has returned to it as well. Things are just a lot different now than what they were just a few years ago.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like Chad was pointing out about movies getting in theaters, not all movies can be Top Gun Maverick and stay in theaters for 6 months. Tom Cruise has a certain effect where, he had it in his contract, it would not go to streaming for 6 months. And it didn't. They stuck by it, and it made a shit ton of money because of that.
Yeah, you really have, and that's the thing is, like, I mean, if you're, I think, really banking on a movie to last for a while in the theater, then you better hope it's a damn good one that's going to attract people to come to those theaters. So, but otherwise, I would say just expect a short theatrical run, and people are going to be patient. And people are not going to be able to spend as much money on the theaters like they used to either, especially with what the way prices are now. And you're talking about a one-time viewing, whereas if like it comes onto a streaming service, people can watch it multiple times. You know, people can buy it on 4K Blu-ray or whatever, and they can watch it multiple times. So people can be patient for that.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when the pandemic first hit, and the first movie that we got was we were going to take the kids to see Trolls World Tour. So it didn't hit theaters.
Your favorite movie, Josh?
Hey.
Josh was like, "Hey, that movie is pretty fire." You know?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But yeah, we paid the $20 rental fee, and I think the kids watched it 5 or 6 times over the course because you get it for 2 days.
Yeah.
So for $20 for the whole family to put that movie on 6 times, well worth it.
Yeah.
Whereas to go to the theater, it would have cost us well over $100 to watch it one time together. So there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah. And I think part of it too is maybe my desire to go to the theater is maybe waned a bit, maybe because of age. Because I remember like when we were young and in high school, fresh out of high school, we were hitting up the movie theaters every weekend.
But it was different
nowadays.
too,
I was kind of like, you know what? I'll be fine if I don't see this movie on opening weekend. I mean, I know I know it kind of sucks, but like my life's not gonna be any different if I have to wait a few months to watch the fucking Thor movie or something.
All right,
which was a dog shit film, by the way.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. My interest is like Chris said. I'm part of that crowd where I'm just like, you know what? I can wait. I have other things going on in my life. I can wait.
Yeah, and the thing is, one of the big aspects that was different too back then is just that there was no streaming service.
Yep,
that's
so
true. Yeah.
We had, if we really wanted to see that movie, and before it comes out to physical release, we had to go to the theater to go see it. That was the only way to do it. But now people have multiple ways of seeing a movie, and they can do it on their own time, and so people don't feel rushed as well. That's another thing. People just don't feel rushed to have to go see this movie before you no longer won't be able to. So
because I think another part that plays into that is the fact that even if you don't go see the big movie that's in theaters, something somewhere is premiering on a streamer every weekend. So you can see something new, even if it's not in the theater. You will be watching a new movie if you so choose.
And that's true. You got all these streamers that are promoting something, and something really good. I mean, there's some really good films that just head straight to the streaming services and watch it. The only thing I do wish is that some of the Netflix stuff, just because I'm a physical release person, there are some things I wish that would get a physical release, because I would love to see, and call me crazy or something, but I like seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff. I like hearing maybe some of the audio commentary stuff. And so we don't really get that with just the movie being on streaming.
Right?
Yeah. And I like a complete
I love
package
watching movies with like audio commentary from the director or something like that.
And you
Depends
never know
on who it is though, because like Rob Zombie commentaries kind of suck. But every once in a while you get like those commentaries where they're like really helpful.
Yeah.
Like they give you like really cool information, like, oh, we did it like this, or we do this sort of technical rig and blah blah blah.
Right.
And as opposed to some directors like, oh, it was raining that day.
Lords of Salem commentary.
It was cold out that day. It was boiling hot when we shot it. We were all terrible.
Did you? Chat, I'm guessing you listened to the Lords of Salem commentary, because I swear to God, Rob Zombie, every fucking scene outside said, "Well, this was one of the rare times it wasn't raining. We weren't hardly able to get this." I was like, "That's all you talk about is how much it rained and how you almost didn't get the scene that you got because it was raining most of the time." Yeah, that was a terrible commentary,
but man, I like the package of stuff. And then the other thing too is that sometimes with the streaming services, you never know when things will just disappear and go away, and then next thing you know, you don't have access to it. So that's one of my big things about being a proponent of physical releases still, no matter what, is at least you could say you got the movie, and if anything happens, you can't even afford internet or something like that at one point, then at least you
How
got
big
something
is your
to be able to
library,
do
by
that.
the way? What was your?
I mean,
what
it's
was your last count? Like
ooh, you know what?
24,000 movies?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It's big, but not as big as other people. Not even.
That's what that's what you say to all the boys.
That's what she said.
You know me very well. Well, according to this app where I'd log in my movies and stuff, supposedly it's $13.59.
Oh, okay.
That's a healthy, robust number.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not enough though. You need more.
Out of curiosity, what app is that?
Huh?
What
app
are
is
you
that?
using?
Oh, that is. Whoops. Hang on. I just closed it out. DVD Profiler.
DVD Profile.
And he just scans the barcodes with his phone camera.
Yeah, you could do that.
And it logs all of his movies.
That'd be nice. I'd
It
hate
was
to
like a
have
couple
to
dollars.
start
for
it.
everything.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't
So it's
bad.
one you paid for. Okay.
I did have to pay for it, but it was just like a couple dollars.
Yeah, what'd you say? It was
It
like
wasn't bad.
$3 or something?
Maybe that.
Like a one-time fee?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not bad then.
Mm-mm. So I hated that. What was it? DVD Aficionado.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that was the one I used for a while and loved it. But man,
Because I
I was like,
it.
but I
Loved
have
it.
to have something to catalog my movies. I just got to. So, but I've been liking that. I like that I can scan the UPCs on the back of the movies, and then it'll find it typically most of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a lot better than having to hand search everything, manually search everything. So
yeah. Sometimes I have to, but
Yeah.
well.
all right, guys. I guess it's time we actually get into this top 10.
Dirty.
This is where we need the part with the good music that we'll go to our 2022 top 10, and then something to go, yay!
Have like the kids cheering in the back.
Yep.
Yay!
Are you ready, kids?
All right, I'm gonna kick off the list with my number 10.
Shoot, Josh.
And this was a movie that, as a family, we've been looking forward to this one for a while. And what I'm talking about is Turning Red. And the reason we were looking forward to it is because my youngest daughter's favorite animal is the red panda. So as soon as we saw a teaser for this, a movie with a red panda, we didn't know what it was going to be.
Which is what Chad wanted to say you looked like earlier before we started this conversation.
Well, he said a normal panda. Yes.
Red pandas do look different though. They look way different than
Way different. Yes.
Well,
yes.
he said you look like a panda,
They
so
kinda
it
look like
works.
Wolverines, though.
But yeah, Turning Red. We didn't go to the theaters. We watched it on Disney Plus because it was I think it only came. They didn't even put it in theaters, did they?
No,
They put
they
it
did
straight
not.
to Disney
No,
Plus.
because you know what? For some reason, like, what was his name? Not Bob Iger, but Bob Chapek
Oh, I don't
or
know,
whatever.
yeah.
He was the CEO of Disney.
Too many bobs.
Like he was, too many Bobs, bobbing around. He did this thing where he was putting Pixar films straight to streaming rather than putting them in the theater. That's the reason why we got like Soul on streaming and Luca and all those. But he got fired, so now Bob Iger is back in the role, so we'll probably see more of that.
That's crazy.
That is
crazy. I mean, it's nice in that effect because at least you're able to, leisurely, I can see this movie on my time and in my own home kind of deal with that double-edged sword. But, one of the things we were talking about too, just real quick, is like, the sad part is too with theaters is that, it's a whole different experience to itself. And there is nothing like being able to share that experience with some strangers to hear their reactions and see their reactions, share those reactions with those people as well. And the fact is the movie theater is a whole different viewing experience than it is at home. So yeah, one of the other things too, as pointing out that double-edged sword.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, at the very least, I think you should be able to do day and date and have it in theaters and at home if you want to go that route. That way, the people who prefer the theater still have that option to go. And I realize money-wise, you're taking a risk if you put it in these theaters and it doesn't make money, but I have a feeling it would have made money. I think all the Pixar movies will make at least a decent enough to justify it being in a theater. But
Well, it got really good reviews.
It was a good
People
movie.
really love the movie, and it's already been starting to pick up nominations for award season.
And shit in some people's leaves because it was talking about, it had metaphors for, girls going through puberty. And of course, you had those like people like, well, you can't do that. You can't talk about that sort of thing.
But they're okay with male puberty. So.
Well, I think some of it is they just don't necessarily always pick up on male puberty. I don't think a lot of people pick up that Teen Wolf is about male going through puberty,
Yeah, but how hard is it also to pick up like when maybe some of those kids films that show where a kid's voice is cracking?
Yeah. And I guarantee you those are the same people as like, keep your agendas out of my movies.
Probably. You're probably right.
Well, that's just because technically, let's just face it. I mean, there are a lot of men out there who are just afraid of female power. That's just, whatever in all its forms, whatever positive forms it is, they're just afraid of it.
Yeah. All right, Chad.
Sorry, rant of the day.
That's why I love Spice World.
Rant of the day.
Girl power.
Hey, I actually come to like Spice World. Like back then, I'm okay. Admitting it to everyone, right? We saw the movie in theaters.
Yes, we did.
We did. We did.
And there were some parts we did enjoy. There's some funny shit in there. But I think we walked out of it going like, what the hell did we watch? What is this?
So surreal.
But here it is, like 20 plus years later, and I could find a whole new appreciation for that film. And I like it. I think it's actually a really good film. Maybe it's just one of those films that was misunderstood when it first came out. And the fact that it is just a fun movie. So,
although Josie and the Pussycats is much better.
And that's another one.
Josie and the Pussycats
another one
way better. Sorry, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah,
but Josie and the Pussycats is way underrated.
I've never watched Josie. I haven't seen Spice World since. I don't think I've seen it since the theater. So.
Oh man.
Well, I don't blame it. It took me a while too.
Okay, Josh, your assignment at some point is to watch Josie and the Pussycats.
It was one of those
underrated film.
Yeah. It was underrated way back then, but now it's gained a whole different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
I've heard a lot of good things about that recently, so yeah. But
okay, so
back on topic. Chad,
my number 10, right? We're at number 10. Film. It might not classify as a movie, even though I classify it as a movie, and I don't care what nobody says. So don't come for me unless I send for you. And that is Werewolf by Night. Good fun movie. Explores a new universe, a new corner of the Marvel universe. It's horror themed. It doesn't really have the superhero aspect to it. I mean, it kind of does, but it's not like a superhero in a cape, saving alien invasions or whatever.
Nothing wrong with that too.
I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it was a little different. But anyway. Yeah, so Werewolf by Night. I want to get off this so that Chris can go on and get his thing in.
Oh, you're fine.
Whew. All right, Chris. I can't comment on Werewolf by Night because I have not watched it yet, so I cannot.
It's good.
Shine.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to sit down and watch it with the kids, and I'm worried that the black and white aspect is going to make them go, "Oh, this is boring," because I haven't got them over that yet.
I think that they will. There's a lot that goes on in it. I think they'll end up forgetting that it's black and white. I think they'll get sucked into the story. Yeah.
All right, Chris, go ahead and give your number 10.
Yay! My number 10, I picked The Good Nurse with Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne. Again, before we got cut off, I had explained how this was based on a true story, real life thing of this male nurse practicing
corruption.
for 16 years, and he had been murdering patients in different hospitals, and all these hospitals would basically let him go, but they would come up with different excuses to let him go and cover up what he was really doing.
Scumbags.
And what it took was finally just being in this one hospital, and this was in the early 2000s, and he befriended this one nurse who she's a good nurse, Jessica Chastain's character. And when she starts to get basically wind of what he's doing and find out what he's doing is horrible, which he was injecting the saline bags with like insulin and some other medicine. She had, the thing is, like, she couldn't outright say anything because it would put her job on the line, but she had to end up working with police secretly. And thanks to her getting his confession, they were able to catch him, lock him up, and he got sentenced for 29 murders, I think, but they believe his
alert.
murders were up to like 400. So yeah, and none of those hospitals were ever held accountable as well, even to this day.
Burn them down. Burn them all down.
And it's just, he would inject those bags, man, and what would happen is he would put them back with the other bags. A nurse would grab a bag thinking everything's okay, hook it up to the patient, and he would be the one that would kill it, but he wasn't caught doing it, you know? So he was just this silent killer.
Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy story.
I know. Insane. I didn't even know about it, honestly, until this movie came out. I was like, shit, where did that come from? And I like kind of, the true crime stories and the serial killer stuff. Like, I can read some of that to an extent, because other times I get too much and I'm like, I need something positive now. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. That's my number 10, The Good Nurse. It's on Netflix. Recommend it. The Good Nurse.
All right, my number 9. It's a movie that I didn't think I'd watch. The wife wanted me to watch it, so I sat down and watched it with her. It's actually currently on Netflix. I think it did go to theaters at first. Based off a book. Didn't read the book. Can't compare it to the book. Don't know anything about the book. So for people who have those comparisons, I'm going purely off the movie I watched. And that is Where the Crawdads Sing.
The Crawdads.
Crawdads. Where the Crawdads Sing. Yes. And it's got Daisy Edgar Jones in it, but basically her character, they live out in the marsh. Like, her character is not referred to as Marsh Girl by everybody in the town, because she basically has grown up on her own since like the age of 9 or something like that. Like, her mom leaves, all her siblings leave, and eventually her dad leaves too, and just leave her there as a young girl.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And the only people she befriends is she goes and starts selling clams to these people that run this little store in town. And they're basically doing it because they know that her family is left, and they're trying to take care of her without being able to take her in. Because it takes place in the 60s.
Weird.
Yeah, it is. And basically what happens is there's a murder that happens. They try to pin it on her because she's Marsh Girl. So you're getting the backstory of her growing up, and then everything leading up to, and you're also getting intertwined with the courtroom drama as they're going through the case. Right. So
actually, that sounds interesting, but I'm sitting here in the back of my head going, how did this girl at 9 years old take care of herself in this house without without the house being taken away? You know what I mean? And paying for all of that, including like just the living expenses, and I don't know. I'm just sitting there thinking, how did she do all of that? That's crazy. That's just me being, over analytical, but it sounds like a really good story.
Yeah, you'd have to check it out. I mean, I don't get it twisted. It's not like she's living nicely. There's not electric. She doesn't have electric turned on or anything. Right. She just has to live there. I'm guessing the house is paid for. And it's this little house that sits out in the marsh that people don't even pay attention to. So,
not even property tax?
Well, can't speak on that. Don't know how that worked, especially back in the 60s, which is when this takes place. So I don't know anything about all that. And maybe that couple that was watching over was actually taking care of some of her stuff for her without her knowing it. So,
that's a good possibility.
But yes, that is my number 9. So, Chad.
Yeah. So my number 9 pick is Wendell and Wild.
Oh, I want to see that one too.
Key and Peele. Don't ask me to summarize it because I'm not good at summaries. Because there's a lot that goes on in this film. But basically, it's just these two, I don't know what you call them, demons.
They're demons.
That, want to start their own little theme park. And something about some hair cream that brings things back to life. And
oh wait, Chris you haven't seen this, right, Chris? So this sounds wild to you. Yeah.
I want to, I've been meaning to, I just have not been able
but it's so good. It's Henry Selick, so he's back doing his thing, and it's just so stylized, so beautifully well done.
That's true.
Yeah, really fun. Totally up my alley. Totally my aesthetic. Loved it.
That sounds
Loved
like,
it.
It sounds like it'd be good though. I mean, just from what I've seen of it,
Yeah.
of turn like the trailer and all that stuff.
I mean, there's a bunch of other things that go
yeah.
on.
Yes.
Kind of
A
lazy.
lot.
Kind of lazy to summarize all of it. So yeah, Wendell and Wild. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
Good stuff.
All right, Chris, let's go.
All right, so my number 9 pick. This is probably going to be a little controversial for some people.
Controversial yet brave.
Yes, but I actually put Halloween Ends on this one.
Nope, Chris, I'm piggybacking off you. That's my number 8, so do not worry. I will tag team this one with you.
I did not mind this one. I think it was a good wrap up for the trilogy they were talking about, and I don't know, it worked for me. I didn't mind the story of the guy, and I mean,
So-
come on, yeah.
I will say this, Chris. I think I'm glad you liked it. I liked it. I knew Chad didn't. I feel like this is going to be a future episode where we really dive into this because I think honestly,
should.
me and
should.
you both like it, but I think honestly we like it for different reasons, which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And Chad, obviously, with his doesn't like it at all. So I say we move on from Halloween Ends because I feel like we're going to have an episode on this coming up this year. So
I look forward to it. I think we should.
that'll be a fun one to dive into. And
yeah.
I know Chad has a particular theory that I'm curious for him to elaborate on, but not here. We'll hold that for the episode.
You have to remind me of this theory.
All I know is I will say is that for me personally, I like the ending between what happened between Michael and Laurie. I did not mind that. I think it
Yep.
was also,
I like that too. I
You
like
know,
the ending with Michael and Laurie.
I think it was a good
the best part of the
little,
film.
I think it was a good little funeral thing that they did for him, and it just ended that chapter for all of that. And I think for Laurie's story, it made sense, and even for Michael to an extent, because I feel like
Yeah.
the Halloween franchise, you could really go and do something different. It doesn't have to necessarily be Michael all the time, and the man ain't going to live forever
I know what.
unless they
you're
do
talking
some sort like maybe like Jason thing, which that's what they did with Jason. So they changed it up. They had to, but
But they couldn't pander to us just a little bit. They couldn't pander to us just a little bit.
Well, I mean, okay, so I really want to save it for the episode,
okay, but let's save it for the episode then.
but I was gonna say everybody
I'm just
likes
gonna
the
get
end.
mad.
You can't have an hour and a half of that ending.
yeah,
Then you're going, oh my god, when's it gonna actually end? This is too much. You can't do that. But
Yeah.
anyways, we'll save that conversation for that episode. 'cause
I like
that's
that idea.
that's
a good
that's
one.
gonna be a deep one, and that's gonna So that's my number 8. So Chad, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip you. That actually worked out nicely, Chris.
Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect.
All right. Yeah, my number 8 was Turning Red.
Okay,
yeah.
nicely.
Yeah. No, like I said, beautiful film, well done. Loved it. It was fun. Characters were great. The red panda that she turns into is super cute.
Yep.
So yeah, no, great film. I recommend it. Don't clutch your pearls. Just
No,
watch the damn
no.
movie.
Enjoy the damn thing. My goodness.
And you know what? I bet you some of that negative pushback were people who probably didn't even see the movie. So,
More than likely, something they heard and just ran
Yep.
with it. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
Saw some ranting uncle's Facebook post.
Yep, exactly. Well, I guess that's my turn again, right? So number 8 for me is Barbarian.
I can see Josh had to wipe.
I
Had to
know,
swallow
Josh,
the
like-
bile from his mouth with that
Josh's
one.
heart kind of sunk to his bottom there for a second. And it's not to say that that's a bad thing or whatever, because it was going to be on my list, but there was just some other movies that
Yeah.
were also on there that I really enjoyed, so it's hard. And but I think it sounds like obviously Barbarian's on Josh's list somewhere along the line. And then Chad, I don't know, maybe for you doing or no?
No, it's
gonna
not
say
on my list.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought you
No,
would.
it's not on my list, but I did enjoy Barbarian though. I loved how it started off as this sort of how do you say it, serious type horror movie, but then when Justin Long came in, it kind of took a comedic turn. So
Oh
yeah, I
my
like the
God.
change in tone with that. And then the thing that just got me was the breastfeeding scene. That was just the scene that I was just like, ugh.
Well, I had to say, it started off being something that, because I like what they did for the teaser and stuff, because it turned out to be something I did not even expect.
Okay.
So it flipped everything up.
Yeah,
I thought it
honestly, I
was.
didn't know
I
what the
thought
movie
this
was
was
even
going to be like some
about.
sort of obsessive,
Yeah.
story thriller thing. The way that they were kind of building on, and then it just completely changed everything up on its head.
Mhm.
And
Although the purpose of the homeless guy was just kind of
Well, I can agree with you there a little bit.
Really?
Well, 'cause
They
it
just
was-
brought him in for exposition.
There you go.
reasons. I just
Yeah.
hated that.
But like otherwise, yeah, that was a good movie all around. Good performances all
I
around,
liked it.
and
It was enjoyable.
it was a lot of fun. So I liked it. So I put it on my list or top 10.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Number 8, it should be number 1.
I guess we shall see. Now, my number 7. I am going with a sequel, and you talked about Barbarian changing tone. This doesn't change tone. This is mean-spirited from the beginning. It's bigger. I told a friend yesterday I was rewatching this, and I said this is basically the South Park of horror movies because it's bigger, it's longer, and it's uncut because this came to theaters unrated. If you don't know what I'm talking about Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they bring the gore. They do have some funny bits in it, and I'll tell you that I'm pretty sure, Chad, you probably haven't seen Terrifier, have you?
No, he hasn't.
It's
And Chris, you probably didn't like Terrifier, did you?
Yeah, like I would say, I forget what I rated it. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 stars.
So what I'll say to that is,
But I've heard a gazillion positive things about.
and I'm going to give you a specific one from a guy I listened to, Elric Kane. He did not like the first one, and he loves this one and put it in his top 10. So I'm just going to say, because you don't like the first one, don't ignore this one. Give it a chance.
It's one I do want to see. I just haven't been able to catch it anywhere. So
yeah, I picked up that Walmart exclusive steelbook of it, so
yeah,
I could have it in my collection. Of course, you guys know I'm Terrifier fans because Christian picked up the mask for me, so you know I'm a Terrifier fan.
That's
Anyway,
the actor and the director for you.
That's so sweet.
Exactly. And for anyone interested, I did have the actor who plays Art the Clown on last year, or by the time this come out, back in 2021, talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So check out the episode with David Howard Thornton because that was a fun one. Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's really good. I had a lot of fun talking with him. Just that brief time I got to at the convention.
That's cool.
But yes, it amps up the gore. It's mean spirited as hell. So you got to know that going in.
Well, I love it just for that aspect. If it's mean spirited, I am 100% on board.
Well, just Chad, maybe don't eat while watching it.
I always thought Art the Clown was really technically your spirit animal.
Really? I need to watch these movies. I've never.
I mean, he spreads shit on the walls. It's just it's just like
shit on the walls.
Okay. Spoiler alert for the first Terrifier. Yes, he writes his name in his own shit on the bathroom wall. Have you seen the mask I got?
No.
Okay, so the mask I have has Art's name written in brown on the mask, and it's supposed to represent that scene in the first movie. That's why it's collectors. The mask I have is they only made 13 of that version.
It was I think was that one Mad Monster Party for the?
No, that was Spooky Empire. That's why I couldn't get it because you were in Orlando.
Spooky Empire is where I met the actor and the director.
Well, that's where I had you pick up the mask too. I had you pick up the mask at that same convention.
Is that the one Ted Raimi was at or Sam Raimi was at?
Oh, that I don't know.
No, that
okay. I was gonna say.
I know when we saw him, it was at that one con that didn't have a lot of people at.
No, Chris was working the con. At this time, this wasn't one he was just visiting.
Sam Raimi was at that I was like really wanting to go to, but I was like, I'm not vaccinated. I can't go yet.
Oh, this is pre-COVID.
Yeah, this was pre-COVID. So this was. Yeah, I had this for a few years, but
like, this whole last few years have just blurred for me. I can't believe it's been that long already.
You're so antisocial. That's why.
Look, I can't help it. I get. Never mind. Go ahead. God drew me this way, Chris.
That's my number 7, Chad. Go ahead with your number 7.
Oh yeah. So my number 7 is the Banshees of Inisherin.
I want to see that one too.
I haven't seen it.
Colin Farrell and Professor Mad-Eye Moody. I forget what his actor's name in there. But oh man, so good, so wild.
I'm guessing you're talking about Brendan Gleeson.
Yes.
Okay. because they're reuniting from him and
Yeah,
the director Martin McDonough. Martin McDonough, is that how you say his name? The In Bruges guy. Yeah, that crew's back together.
Just wild. Like, there's a lot of layers to it. It's a very to me, it's a very cerebral film in terms of how you have to interpret it. But man, yeah, it's kind of like, friends that sort of escalate this weird feud between them or something. I don't know. But yeah, just wild. So excellent. And performances are really good. And of course, it's beautifully shot because they shoot it on the coast of Ireland.
Oh yeah,
and of course,
that'd be nice.
yeah.
Colin Farrell goes
Irish.
super
He's
Irish in there. You're like, good God.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you have to watch it with subtitles though. But I
see that.
feckin' loved it, is what they say. Feckin'. Feckin' loved it. So yeah, good movie, great movie. Watch it if you haven't seen it.
I have it on my list on HBO Max. So
Oh, it's on HBO Max?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, great movie.
I didn't know about that too until later, and I was like, oh crap, okay, I can't watch it yet.
I didn't really know anything about it. I saw it on Chris's to-watch list, on his to-be-watch list, and I was like, oh, what the hell? One day I was just like, oh, what the fuck? I'll just watch it. So
Damn,
yeah,
they
it's
made
good.
the list. Good job. Love it.
Let's see,
All right.
from me, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Number 7, correct, guys? So for me, it would be the Batman.
Huh? Okay.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Oh no. I think you downloaded the wrong version, Chris.
What are you talking about? I know it was a good one. There was it Two Cheeks? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Pat.
Yeah, which I was really surprised about because I wasn't really sure how I was going to take him as Batman, but he did an excellent job. Zoe Kravitz as Selena / Catwoman was good. But I think
Just that name, Selena Kyle.
Selena
Ooh.
Kyle. But really, probably the one performance that sticks out the most in it because it was so deranged was Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yeah.
That was just a creepy performance and so well done. Otherwise, the movie was just good. It's a bit of a slow build as well, I think, but things start to amp up, and then wow, what happens near the end is crazy in itself, and so yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a great film. Also, another nicely shot film, and just very well done. And then and Colin Farrell, of course, in it too as the Penguin, and just
Fired up.
just so
Didn't he look like
different.
him?
No, not at all. And he was great. So yeah, good movie. I enjoyed it.
I'm just glad we didn't get fucking Joker in this movie. Although we
I know,
sort
just
of
kind of did,
right?
kind of yeah.
I mean, not on screen, but voiceover, off screen, right? Off screen voice.
I guess maybe, but at the end,
Yeah.
at the end, yeah. And I didn't realize, but guess what? That voice was done by the guy who played Druig in Eternals.
Druig.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Irish
he's also in the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes, and
he
he's
plays the dull town guy.
he's got some
I forget what his name is.
nominations too
Yeah,
for award season.
that guy's making a splash
He
all over
is.
the place. His little Irish ass all over the place.
Sorry, Josh, we're going all over the place. But yeah, the Batman, number 7.
The
Josh,
Batman.
what's your number 6 then?
Number 6. All right. I really debated 1, where this would wind up in the rankings. 2, which one I was going to go with. And I eventually chose to go with X, the first one.
Ooh.
The first one I saw, I should say, because I've seen it twice and I've only seen Pearl once so far. I liked Pearl, and I think it will go up above X as I rewatch it, but I haven't gotten there yet with it. And I love X. I love that 70s Texas that feels so damn hot watching that movie. You just feel sweaty.
And not and not for
Moist.
the obvious reasons,
You
right,
feel
Josh?
No, you feel like I've never been to Texas, but I just feel like I know what it feels like from watching movies like that. And of course, the obvious Texas Chainsaw Massacre obviously is another one. But yeah, Mia Goth is excellent. Jenna Ortega. I haven't seen Scream, but between Scream, X, and now Wednesday being out, she's having a hell of a year herself.
Yeah,
so
she is.
For sure.
yeah, X. I loved it. We talked about it. We talked about it a little bit on the Grandma Exploitation episode we did with Will and Alan. So I loved it.
You know what? I didn't realize too that I don't know why, but the time I was watching X, I didn't realize that Mia Goth also portrayed the old woman in that movie.
Oh, you didn't?
No, she looks so different.
It's the makeup.
She looks so
dog.
different.
It's
Yeah,
the makeup.
well, of course it's the makeup, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just really
Chris
honestly
thought
a
it was a
different
real old
actress.
woman.
I just thought it was a different actress. So, yeah,
I did too. I didn't realize it until the end. But yeah.
Maybe I'll watch Pearl today. I haven't seen
Well,
it.
I'm Chad. I'll tell you, I like X more right now, but I will say Mia Goth's even better in Pearl.
Yes, she is.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
As far as she's concerned, she's better in Pearl.
I can dig it.
And then Chad.
Oh yeah,
Chad, number 6.
what are we on? Number 6. I picked Prey, the new Predator
Ooh,
movie.
I wanna
That
see
was
that one.
so
I still have
good.
yet to see that.
Yeah, I didn't get to that one.
I loved it so hard. It was so well done. I know people were kind of like, shit on the ending or whatever, but I was like, she kind of outsmarted the Predator like Dutch did in the original. She wasn't in there like boxing him to death, So no, it was really good. I loved it. It was so good.
That a lot of people were putting that even on their top 10
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
So yeah, that
Really well done.
That's a movie that I think had I gotten around to it would have made this list, but
yeah, I'm wondering.
I did
I
not.
would have. It was really well done.
Yeah.
It was really entertaining. It was a good sort of entry into the Predator franchise.
It was a good reinvigoration.
Yeah,
for it, right?
yeah.
It needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay.
See, I want to see that one. So for my number 6, it's The Black Phone.
Oh, that was so good.
Love that one too. That's another one I didn't expect it to be what it was. Really surprised. The performances, particularly from the kid actor, because sometimes with the kid actors, you never know what you're really gonna get. So, but they were so good in this one. So I was into it. It was really good, nicely done.
Me
It's
too.
a simple story, but so effective,
Mm-hmm.
and it works, and also pretty damn emotional. So
Yeah. You know what made me
Yeah.
really disgusted about that movie is that a guy that sold balloons could afford to buy 2 houses.
yeah.
I work hard at the library every week, and I can't even afford to buy 1 house.
Well, you gotta think too. It was also a different time.
I know, but a fucking balloon salesman.
I guess it was one step up from a shoe salesman like Al Bundy.
Yeah,
And
really.
then Al Bundy was
But
able
Al
to
Bundy
afford
could
a house.
You know what? Fuck this plan. I don't feel like living here no more.
Yeah.
Slagathor can send me to fucking Mars.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I mean, if you get on the ground level, I mean, theoretically, property values will only go up.
Yeah. All right, for my number 5, going to I guess my first foreign movie on the list, coming from it's Triple R, RRR. Is that from India?
Yeah. Is that a Hindi movie, or did they shoot it in a different language, or?
That's what I cannot say for sure. It is. All I know is India. So
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Indian movies are wild. Because I picked for a
that
different
one,
list that we're going to talk about. I picked one.
That's one
Yeah.
I think that's also been picking up awards for award season 2, Josh.
yeah, I mean it's epic. Now it's 3 hours, so it's a commitment to watch. Which, I mean, you guys Chris, you chose the Batman, so you know what it's like. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
But it's well worth your time, and you get a lot. And I mean, it's got the musical aspect, it's got the drama and the emotion, it's got action, it's got some pretty hardcore violence. And top it all off, it's got a great bromance that lasts throughout the movie that just has you feeling for these characters, and you just want to see them succeed and know that at some point it's not going to go well because of where these characters are coming from and how they're both coming at this relationship from which sides. I don't want to say too much, but like I said, it's number 5. If you haven't seen it, check it out. RRR. I watched it. It was available on Netflix. I guess it's still there. That's where I was able to catch it.
I remember hearing about it, but I just didn't know much of it. But that sounds interesting. It's got all those elements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I want to watch it for sure.
Jay,
All right.
what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Bullet Train.
Oh, I want to see
Oh
that one
man,
too.
such
Yeah,
a
I
fun
watched it.
movie. Such a fun movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson and oh gosh,
Brad Pitt. I know
no,
he's
it was
in
the
it,
guy
and-
from the Eternals who
Oh,
played Hephaestus. In the Eternals.
oh,
Oh my god, I forget
yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. I know
I'm
what
gonna
you're
feel
talking
bad
about.
if I can't remember it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm wikiing this. I can't believe I don't remember. It's not coming to me. Hold on.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, those two were so good in that movie. It was awesome. Just nonstop fun, action, ridiculous.
That's what it looks like. I haven't checked it out. I know I did see that it's on Netflix, so I'm hoping to check it out at some point soon, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Same.
But
I got it
y'all
on my
should check it
list.
out because it's amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, I guess my turn again. So my number 5 is Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery.
Such a good one.
So it's a sequel, of course, to the Knives Out, and we have Daniel Craig returning as the master detective, Benoit Blanc, Southern guy. And we got a great ensemble cast for this one, just like the first one had. You got Edward Norton, you got Catherine Hahn,
Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista.
Yes,
Goldie
Dave
Hawn.
Bautista. I was trying to think of Goldie Hawn's daughter. I was like, Goldie Hawn's daughter. So I got stuck on that. Yeah. And then, of course, Dave Bautista and Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe.
Great. I did not know what this was going to go into as well, because I was actually kind of not feeling it for the first 30 minutes or so. But then things quickly turn as well, and you start seeing these little bit of twists about why this is set up and what's going on here and what these characters are discussing and so forth. Oh man, really well done. I think I still like Knives Out, the first one, better, but this one is a great sequel. Like, it has nothing to do with the first. You don't have to watch the first one to
Stands on
enjoy
its
this
own,
one. This
yeah.
definitely stands on its own, and that's what the director intended. So
It's like a Agatha Christie or
yes,
like a
yeah.
you know.
And actually, from what I understand too, the director hated that they added a Knives Out mystery to it, because he just
yeah.
really wanted it to be called Glass Onion.
Well, marketing, they have
So,
to link it.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But man, Edward Norton plays an asshole in this movie.
Obviously, reference to
a
the real
hippie
life
asshole.
Twitter owner Slagathor.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely get
So-
that sense. He's kind of like this hippie, rich asshole
Mhm.
guy. It's crazy. But yeah, very well done. I can see why it's also been picking up its nominations too this season.
I don't
And
know.
it's on
Mine-
Netflix.
Yeah, it's easily accessible, that's for sure. I know. I need to check it out. I was trying to check it out. I was tired. I fell asleep, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna blame the movie for that. The wife watched it. She liked it a lot. So
Yeah, it was good. Like Chris said, it definitely picks up sort of like in that halfway point
Yeah.
when they sort of recap what's happening, what led to where they're currently at. Like, oh man, this gets so much better.
So for my number 4, well, I'm getting festive up in this bitch, and I'm going with David Harbour as Santa Claus and Violent Night.
Oh, I want to see that one.
wanna
No,
see that
I
one,
want
too.
to see that one.
Oh man, I did not expect to like this as much as I did. It's full of action. It's got some good gore, and it's got a lot of heart, which I
Well,
didn't see
the weird
coming.
thing is, I heard some people actually kind of compare the action to Die Hard. Is that
Well, I mean, the easy way to sell this movie is Die Hard meets Home Alone, because you get
okay? All right.
very clear homages to both of those.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
this movie also has a ton of heart at its center. That it's still new, and you guys haven't seen it, so I'm not going into details, but it's definitely one that I will rewatch for Decembers to come. It is
Nice.
well worth your time. And I think based on the trailer, I think it sells it as one thing, and it's actually a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
I agree, because from the description you gave me, that's what I heard, and I was like, "That's what this movie is." But I think what happened too is I kind of got it confused with another Christmas movie that came out recently. I think it was
You did. I was listening to the episode you guys did with Alan and Will,
Yeah,
and
so
you were thinking of Christmas Bloody Christmas.
yes, yeah.
Which I also did watch that as well. It's not going to make this list, but that was still a fun time, especially if you're into like that heavy metal music. And
I want to see that one too because it looks funny, but somehow I got both of them crossed into the same line here.
Yes, I noticed I was listening to that episode. I noticed you said, I'm pretty sure it has a robot Santa. And I was like, oh, he's thinking Christmas, bloody Christmas.
Yeah.
It is not that.
We should
David,
have probably called Chris out on Twitter. for
Nah,
that.
I wasn't
You
gonna
just
do all
started
that.
Twitter.
Please.
Start
Nah,
people
please.
dragging Chris on Twitter.
And you didn't do that. Right?
Anyone else could do that on Twitter if they wanted to, and I'd be like, okay, that's cool. I got it wrong. Whoop-de-doo.
That's it. I've gotten stuff wrong. I've been wrong on
I'm
there.
not perfect. I'm human.
I've listened back and go, well, I was wrong about that. Whoops. But yeah, Violent
my
Night,
deal.
number 4. Chad, where are you going with number 4?
Yeah, my number 4 is the Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie. Oh man, so good, so beautifully done. Again, stop motion animation. I think I have a thing for animation this time around, but animation movies were amazing this year. Pinocchio, I think, tops it. Just beautifully done. You know, stylized, designed beautifully by Chris Grimley, who's a well-known children's book illustrator. Who, you know, so yeah, and it's definitely not. It's not Disney's. It is not Disney's Pinocchio. It's you know, kids can watch it, but
Yeah, we showed our kids.
yeah, there are some like heavy themes in it. You know, like I mean, who thought that Paradise Island was going to be like a prison training camp, or you know, World War II or whatever it was that was breaking out.
That's the other thing is I haven't seen Pinocchio in so long that I don't remember the actual story. So everything was just like, oh, I guess that's just how it works. Because I don't remember that movie at all.
Oh man, the original's still scary though. The Disney one.
Start turning into donkeys and
yeah,
shit.
it still's got some scary stuff in that one. But I want to see that one too. And then that's the other thing. That one too has also been picking up awards this season. So it's running in the same category as Turning Red, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I don't know, the category is going to be pretty difficult for best animation this year, I think. Apparently the score has been getting also big raves and nominations too for that movie.
Yeah, I mean everything about it's just superbly done.
All right, Chris, where are you at on number 4?
Right. Number 4 for me. Okay, so this one's a feel-good movie. You can't help but just absolutely love it, and maybe it's just because of the optimism of the lead character in this one. But this one's called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and this one takes place like I want to say maybe like the 60s or 70s, maybe. You have a widow who is been she's been a maid most of her life. So she goes to different houses to clean up and everything, and that's how she makes her living and survive and all. Because I think her husband died in the war and all. But anyway, she has this one client that she works for who has this beautiful Christian Dior gown, right? And it just makes her kind of obsessed with like, man, I want one too.
Me too.
Because back then it was a pretty exclusive thing. Like you had to have money. You had to travel to France to go there for
Grace
it.
Kelly wore Dior
And they
all
had
the
to,
time,
and it took like about a month for them to fit the dress for you basically and get the right proportions, the right design and everything. So, but Mrs. Harris is not rich or anything like that, right? So she ends up taking her savings to go to Paris to get her own Dior gown. And of course she has like her trials and tribulations to go through. Some of the rich snobby people are kind of like, you don't belong here,
of course.
But you got like a model and a designer who kind of like take her in and is like, we think you're just the greatest thing ever. She's so nice, she's so kind, and I don't know, like I said, it's just a really great feel-good movie. Great performance by the lead actress as well. Hopefully she gets an Oscar nomination this year. But it's beautiful. It's a great film. So I recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I think you told me I should show that to my wife, if I'm not mistaken. I remember you sending me that title. I remember that. I didn't realize it was this year. I thought it was an older movie you'd found by the name, but I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that came out of nowhere, really, a little bit earlier this year or so, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me check this out. So and then I did, and I was like, I can see why people love it.
Simply sublime. Sublime.
All right, on to number 3. And I am going with a movie that for a while was actually my number 1. Like when it came out, it was definitely my number 1. And I knew it would stay near the top, and it stuck at number 3. That is Robert Eggers' The Northman.
See, I want to see that one as well.
Oh, man, it's really good. I enjoyed that movie so much.
Yes, Alexander Skarsgård is chiseled from stone in this movie. Oh my goodness.
If they ever need a replacement for Chris Hemsworth as Thor, get that Skarsgård kid. Because he got pumped for this movie.
Yes, he did. He's in
not
it.
like he was in True Blood.
Wow.
Sexy.
But yeah, and I mean, you get your violent, epic Viking scenes, but it's not all that. So for a lot of people who just wanted a straight up violent Viking movie, they were a little disappointed. But I mean, it's Robert Eggers. I guess if you don't know who that is, you might not know what you're going in for, but you're going to have that little supernatural element. Anya Taylor-Joy's here.
She's really good.
She was good. Hell, I think Nicole Kidman was good.
Willem Dafoe slapping his own dick. That was amazing.
Well, Chris, if you weren't sold before,
you are now. Yes.
That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah.
Yes, The Northman. I came out, love it. I need to give it a rewatch actually because I haven't rewatched it.
Right?
Yeah, she gave a good performance. I like Nicole Kidman in this.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke. He may be making one more appearance on my list, so we shall see.
Wow, good job.
Yeah. So my number 3, right? We're on number 3. Was also The Northman.
Oh wow, nice, perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, same reasons. Just a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. But I also like Robert Eggers. Like, I enjoyed The Lighthouse.
Still have not checked out The Lighthouse.
And I like The Witch, even though I know people kind of hate that movie because, it was boring. But, somebody who comes from an occult practice in his past, I sort of recognize a lot of that stuff. So it was a fun time for me.
I actually run in horror circles that really like The Witch. Now, for me,
that's nice to hear. Because if I ever talk to somebody about The Witch, they're like, "Oh, I didn't like it."
No, it's not for me. It was too slow for me. So it is a slow move that I'm gonna guess has that.
Phillip. I mean, who does not want to live deliciously?
But yeah,
Right,
Northman. Me and Chad are in agreement, and Chris hasn't seen it yet. So
yeah, but it's one of those ones I have on the list.
Yep.
So for me, number 3 is a tie for me because both these movies go together.
Oh, here comes X and Pearl. I knew it was coming.
Yes,
at some point.
that's exactly what it is. So it's Pearl and X. For me, I enjoyed Pearl way more than X. Okay. Not to say that X is not good or because I loved X as well when I saw it.
Sure, Chris. Sure.
But I think one of the things I liked about with Pearl is that this one felt a little more, I guess, developed in terms of what with being along the ride with this character that Mia Goth plays. And I like, of course, it's homage to golden cinema, if you will, the golden age of cinema, Technicolor of cinema and all that stuff. So you see definitely Wizard of Oz homages up in there. And Mia Goth, I think in this one just gives a hell of a performance. Like I feel if she felt like she playing Pearl in the first movie was just like only the tip of the iceberg maybe of this character, but this one she really like gripped into it, man, and she gave just one of the most powerful performances of the year in my opinion. This is one performance that should be also getting award nominations this season, but she's getting snubbed except I think the Independent Spirit Award.
Right.
But
you might say she's a star.
Yeah, she is.
So Chad, if you haven't seen it, you're not going to get that reference. But if you've seen it, you get that reference.
He did see X. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Pearl, where she gives that speech.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But beautiful movie. Way so different than the way that X was shot. So it really feels like they put so much heart and thought into this movie. It was just elevated. It was so well done. So I loved it. And X is just a great film. A lot of fun. I love the throwback to me with like 70s, 80s horrors. What it feels like to me just happens to have this. Well, it fits even with the time period because adult cinema was huge back then, and so it made sense that somehow this would play like a background for just what happened, what these characters are doing, but then stuck in this horror element that's such a also an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So wonderful film as well. So I had to put both of them together. It's hard to say like
I debated that
on the list, but I was like, I'm just gonna put them as a tie because they just belong together.
We have a tie.
Exactly.
Tie.
if there's a tie to be had, it's those two that go together. So that works out nicely. Number 2 did not make Chad's list, made it lower on Chris's list, but I was super impressed with it, and that is Barbarian. We talked about this when we did the Grandma Exploitation episode. Will was telling us he had just seen it, and he said go in blind. So I didn't watch a trailer or anything. I had no idea what this movie was about at all. And I went in, and in the first, 30, 40 minutes, they take out a character that I was like, holy shit, I didn't think they would take out that character. And then it changes into something different. And if you don't go with that turn, I can understand why you wouldn't like this movie. But I was sold. I went in with it. Chad, you mentioned it. Justin Long pops into this movie. It's complicated because it's Justin Long, and he's funny, and he's making you laugh. But good Lord, he's a dick.
Also,
he's a dick character.
He's a character you don't like either.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like as you find out more about him, you don't like it, and then
scuzzy person.
Yeah, and what's I don't want to spoil it, but when it turns out that something that's said about him, and then he confirms it himself to be true.
Yeah,
you're like, oh my god, I'm ready for this guy to die.
Weird because he didn't, he just didn't want to think that's what it was.
Right.
He didn't want to call it for what it was. So then here he is with life in danger, and then suddenly, boom.
And I know a lot of people will say that's putting too much messaging in your film because we see that in Hollywood.
Whatever.
Those people.
Film is the thing is
that's what the purpose of this shit is.
Yes, all film, all art has some sort of commentary on what's going on in life.
Those people just need to stay away from all sort of movies, books, comic books, music, everything. Just need to stay away from that shit if you feel that way.
But yes, I was fully on board. I love this movie. I only loved one more. We'll talk about that in a minute. Barbarian was awesome. There's still so many I didn't get to see, so who knows what I'd love after I see everything.
Well,
but
one thing I gotta say is that the trailer does not even give you a hint of anything. It doesn't even give you a hint of what this whole twist shit.
Yeah,
that's what I was telling Alan and Will when we
had no idea what the fuck you were getting into.
Will had brought up Barbarian, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that movie's even about because I hadn't seen it by that point, and I was like, I don't even know what this thing's even about, even based on the trailer.
Yeah, and the poster doesn't give you anything either. I thought, or if there was something in the poster, then I missed it. But yeah, great film, and it's a great choice. It needs to be in the top 10s for sure because it's a good film.
Okay.
But there's some other films too I haven't checked out as well. So I feel you, Josh.
All right, Chad, number 2.
My number 2 is Glass Onion. I know it's a little bit lower on Chris's list, but I really enjoyed Glass Onion. It was fun, and I'll never get over Daniel Craig talking like Foghorn Leghorn.
Right?
I do say.
Well, I do declare.
I do declare.
That's true.
I guarantee.
Well, that's scary because our governor down here talks like that as well. So it's kind of
Governor Foghorn Leghorn.
Governor Foghorn Leghorn.
That's what a lot of people call him because that's who he sounds like.
Governor Leghorn. I mean, Governor.
Oh, what's his face? But no, it was a fun movie. Like I said, it picked up in that last sort of half of it, and yeah, just a fun time.
Right.
Just a fun time. I enjoy it. Agatha Christie would have loved it.
And it works for, I think, today.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of what a mystery,
There's
if you're
too
telling a
much
mystery
messaging
story
in
that's
the
within
movie.
the time period, it works.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes you get annoyed with some of the technological advances we made being in some of the movies that we're in. But they do a great job with incorporating that stuff in this because it just makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Chris, number 2.
Number 2 for me is Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, wow.
You finally watched it?
I did. I was so surprised. Okay, here's the thing. I never really considered myself the biggest Top Gun fan.
I love Top
Chad.
Gun.
Now Chad, when we were kids, he would watch that movie like on repeat for 24/7.
Oh man, it's great. It's still great.
And of course, one of my favorite parts about that movie is the volleyball scene. But I digress.
That song playing with the boys in the background.
But and then honestly, I thought too, like, here we are 30 plus years later. What are they going to do for a sequel? What else is there to tell? I don't know if this will work, blah, blah, blah. But then it comes out and it's huge. It's successful. It's made over $1 billion. Chad and Mom have raved about it. You know, they were telling me how great it is. Critics have loved it. So I check it out myself. And I don't think I have ever been in a while so tense watching a movie because I was like literally on the edge of my seat with the shit that was going on in this film. And on top of that, it's emotional. It tugs at the heartstrings. It's so damn good. I was like, okay, I get it. I am converted on this. I can see why this movie is getting Best Picture nominations like it is. Tom Cruise is actually great in this one as well. It's probably his best performance in a while. So, and the new actors are good. It was great to see Val Kilmer in there.
Yeah.
He does such a great job.
She's
Connelly
still hot.
is great. Yeah. So, oh man, I can't recommend it enough. So people check it out. I think it's
got Josh, one of your favorite actors, Miles Teller, in it.
Yes.
From one of your favorite movies, Whiplash.
I do love Whiplash.
An asshole in real life, but man, I loved Rooster in this movie.
Yeah.
Rooster was great.
So that mustache.
The mustache.
He's got that 80s that 80s mustache going on. I was like, man, I'll ride that.
I think everybody was saying that when they saw it.
Oh,
you love that for your podcast, Josh?
Yeah, that's one I haven't checked out. And Chris, a lot of it is what you're saying. I watched Top Gun for the first time like last year.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I do not get the hype for this movie. I don't like this movie very much.
Not like it's fast planes, fast motorcycles, hot guys playing the volleyball. You know,
the leather jackets,
the
cinematography is great.
Everything. Oh man!
And this one is just
California. Like, oh man, how can you not love that movie?
They take it up a notch.
Top Gun's overrated. Top Gun's overrated.
Blasphemy.
And
Blasphemy.
the music. Can't forget the score.
The score.
Yeah.
Kenny Loggins' Highway to the Danger Zone. Like, oh my god.
Okay, well, Chad, you may forget, but for quite a while, I worked right next to a fucking Top Gun ride that played the goddamn all day, hours, every fucking day of my life listening to that. So I didn't need to hear that.
Well, they missed out on playing not the score necessarily, but even though the score's good.
Yeah, Highway.
But oh crap, oh my god, why am I losing the term for it in my head? The music, not
the actual
score.
soundtrack.
Thank you, soundtrack. Oh my
yeah, the score is the
soundtrack is just amazing though. So, but they do oh man, this movie is just great from top to bottom, Josh. I recommend it if you get a chance.
It's really good.
I think it's on Paramount Plus is where I saw it.
Okay.
But worth it, absolutely worth it. And I'm not kidding when I said I was literally on the edge of my seat. I was just like, oh my god, please make this, because that mission they had to do, I was like oh man.
Chris, have you seen Uncut Gems?
No, I have not. I've heard nothing but good things, but I know it's Adam Sandler and I heard he's excellent in that movie. I don't know, I just haven't gotten around. I haven't just put it on any of my list to be like, I need to see it. Oh,
well, one, I recommend it, but two, it's probably the last movie that had me Like it, I think I put in my review. Watching Uncut Gems, you have to remind yourself to breathe because you're like you just tense up and are like not breathe. Like, oh my god, is this gonna go okay? But when you say that, that's what it made me think of. That's why I went to Uncut Gems.
Wrong though. It doesn't have hot, sweaty, shirtless guys in it. Though.
No, but you get Adam Sandler with a goatee. So take that for what you will.
Well, I think you'll kind of feel the same way with Top Gun Maverick and what they have to do because there definitely was a period I was sitting there going like, I don't think I breathed this in the whole time. So yeah, good one. That was my number 2.
And I'm glad to see that movie succeed because like I like because Joseph Kosinski, I believe that's his name, is the director of the movie. He directed Tron Legacy, which is one of my other favorite movies. Yeah. And he also did Oblivion with Tom Cruise.
Oh, that's a good movie too, actually.
So I mean, I was glad to see this movie succeed and see Mr. Kosinski, I think is his name, make a big splash with one of his films. And
with it being Top Gun movie, you know, you would not have. I don't think anybody really expected it to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it changed me because I was like, I like this film. This is so good. So I enjoyed it.
All right, guys, we've made it. Number 1s. Number 1. I feel like I'll be surprised if you guys don't share the same number 1. Because I felt like from the beginning, your guys' number 1 was a certain movie, and it hasn't come up yet. So I'm assuming it's coming up.
Well, my number 1, I can definitely say Chad hasn't seen it yet. So.
Oh wow! Okay, never mind. Wow. All right. Well, I'll get to my number 1.
Okay, so I might surprise you. Go ahead, Josh. Shoot. What you got?
Chris, you talked about a few back, and that is The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
That's a good one.
Another one I went into, I had seen the poster, so I'd seen The Mask, but I didn't watch a trailer. So for anyone that wants to not know anything, fast forward for about 30 seconds to a minute. And I didn't know this movie was set in the 70s. I didn't know the character was called the Grabber and he was abducting kids. So I knew none of this going in. So it was just a blank slate for me to sit down. And, you know, some people have a tendency to like project themselves into like a lead character in a movie and it can either make or break a movie. I don't do that with myself, but I'll be damned if a movie doesn't have kids, if I tend to project my kids into the damn thing.
That's the thing that kids has done differently for you now.
Yeah. And so with an older boy and a younger sister, I have that. I also have a third one that they don't have, but I have those two that are a few years apart. And I immediately projected them into that. And for that reason, you said it was emotional. It definitely affected me. And for that reason, that movies like that have a bigger impact on me. And that's why it stands at number 1. Because it is, and like you said, the kid performances are actually good. And there's more than one. It's not like it's one kid performance. There's multiple kids who could have ruined this movie and they didn't. And they're all good performances. Jeremy Davies gives a good performance. Like, you're torn because at the one point you like hate him, and at the other point you understand what he's going through and why he is the way he is. Yeah. James Ransom pops up as the I'd say as the brother in a fun role. It's one of those. All I can think of when I see a character like that is that meme of Charlie Day where he's like trying to figure everything out on the wall and he's smoking a cigarette.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those type characters. But yeah, The Black Phone, you talked about it. I thought it was great. I want to read the short story by Joe Hill. I haven't read it yet and see how good it is. But yeah, that was when I walked out of that day, because I had already, like I said the same thing with The Northman. When I walked out of The Black Phone, I said, "Oh, it's gonna be hard for them to beat this," and nothing ever did for me. So
wow, see, that's really cool. Though. I'm glad Black Phone did that for you.
All right, Chad.
So my number 1 was Chris's number 2, which is Top Gun Maverick. Such a fun movie.
I should have known you were going to go there, but because you hadn't picked this other movie that I really thought was going to be, and maybe Chris is right. Maybe you hadn't seen this one, and I didn't realize that. I thought you'd seen it. But okay, go ahead and talk about it. You talked about it a little bit, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, I don't think there's anything else I can say what we haven't already said about Top Gun. It was just really a fun movie. Man. Yeah. Well done. I'm a longtime fan of the original Top Gun movie.
Yeah.
Loved it ever since I was a wee little lad. And
back in Ireland.
Oh my god! I mean, no matter what, like even with the original movie, Those guys in their uniforms, hot, swoon. The glasses, the leather jacket, swoon. The volleyball scene, swoon. And this one, it's a like tag ocean football game with some of the swoon. So I mean, damn. Oh, it's beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful.
But no, it was a fun movie. It was great.
It is.
You know, and it hit all the right points that you want out of a fun, entertaining movie.
And man, the people who do that in real life, holy shit.
Yeah.
It makes you gain definitely a deeper appreciation for the men and women who put their lives on the line for this country.
So good. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah. And the fact that Tom Cruise really went up there and flew those jets, because he's all about doing his own stuff now. So
flying off the side of planes and shit.
Oh man, some of that shit I'd be like, what?
He's like, green screens. What are those?
All right, Chris. Okay, I thought there was going to be.
And I'm sure you know this one. So my number one is, of course, everything.
Okay, so I had yours right. I thought you guys were both going to go there, and apparently Chad hadn't seen it, so I didn't.
I haven't seen that movie yet. No, I know. Slap my
No,
wrist twice.
but if you want to watch probably the best movie that deals in terms of with the multiverse concept, this is the movie for it. This
like Doctor Strange, fuck that shit.
Well, not to say Doctor Strange wasn't good in its own right, but this one, it like, oh man, like you're going to get confused at times in this movie. There's no question about it, but you also, for some reason, are able to understand and kind of go back and understand some things. We're like, oh, this is why this is, and blah blah blah. But there's so much at heart for this movie. There's so much emotion. There's so many different themes. Like you also have the mother-daughter relationship thing. You have family, marriage, just the concept of being compassionate towards your fellow human beings. It's a lot going on, but I don't know. They just do it in such a complicated yet richly beautiful, developed story using this outlandish concept of the multiverse, and it's just fantastic from top to bottom. Performances are amazing. I'm glad that Michelle Yeoh is getting the accolades and the recognition that she deserves, and actually I am team Michelle Yeoh for winning the Oscar this year. Jamie Lee Curtis also getting a lot of recognition, and I hope she's also able to go on to maybe win an Oscar this year. So perfect. It's just a perfect movie. It's so good. So I can't recommend it enough as well.
And this is one you talked about getting confused. This is one I watched at like 2:00 in the morning, and I was half awake, and that's why I did make my list. I need to revisit this one to solidify it where it's at. I'm sure it would have made my list had I done that. I feel like it would have made Chad's list had he gotten around to it. In fact, Chris, I almost made the joke when you said my number one is. I almost went Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because I knew I was going to go the other multiverse movie, because I felt like I knew your number one, and I was right. I thought it was both of yours, and I was wrong. But yeah,
Doctor Strange was all right, but I just didn't understand like all that drama for what, all that drama for Wanda over some imaginary kids and a real doll.
Well, I mean,
I didn't see that. I didn't speak on that.
We could go into that, but that's a whole different topic later. Because I will fight that ground on that, Chad. But anyway.
Yeah, we can have that debate on another show.
Yeah.
So let's go through some movies real quick that maybe was close to making your list and didn't.
Well, the only thing I made also was kind of a list of some movies that I didn't see that I want to. So like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Same.
People have absolutely been loving that movie, and Angela Bassett is getting her accolades for that too. I did see the movie Elvis, and I will say Austin Butler was absolutely freaking amazing. That man, he better also get the Oscar. But I also want to see Babylon. I also want to see The Whale, Tar. There was, I did see Strange World, which is another Disney film.
Oh, I want to see that one. Yeah.
It was all right. for me, but I feel like there was also something a little missing from it, but it's worth watching. And I'm proud that Disney made the effort with having also a gay lead character in this one. But I just feel like it could have been.
Chris, you can't be corrupting the kids that way.
It could have been maybe a different story. But and another this one I came close to putting in my top 10. Is it Brazilian? I think it's a Brazilian or Spanish film, but it's actually technically a remake of a movie that was made like maybe back in '79. But it's called God's Crooked Lines, and that's also kind of a mystery thriller film, and it's pretty crazy. And the ending, you sit there and you go, oh, is this real or not real with this character? So very good. And then shout out also to Fire Island, because I know me and you actually saw it earlier this year, and that was pretty funny. It was pretty good, and it's based on like a Jane Austen novel. So they use the same concept but just turn it into using gay characters and happen to be on Fire Island. So yeah.
And Bob's Burgers.
Yes, the Bob's Burgers movie. Yes.
And then I agree with that list. The only thing I want to add is I want to see. I haven't seen it yet.
And Tar.
Avatar. I want to see Avatar 2: Way of Water. I want to see that just because I will always stand James Cameron. So.
And I do want to see that movie Tar with Cate Blanchett. That's another one as well.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I wanted to see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I wanted to see Smile.
Yes. I want to see Bones and All also.
I want to see Bones and All. Yes. The Menu. I want to check out The Menu.
Yes. Yeah.
There's plenty I want to see, but as far as movies that I really debated, like we mentioned Pearl, because I thought about putting both of them like Chris did.
Yeah.
Fresh with Sebastian Stan and also Daisy Edgar-Jones on Hulu. If you don't know what Fresh is, I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's better to go in blind to that one. So.
Bad Josh.
Hey, look, this movie has an opening scene, and then the title doesn't hit till about 20 minutes in, and that's when you start to figure out what this movie is sort of going to be about.
Okay,
well worth it. Another animated movie, The Bad Guys. It's animals, it's a wolf, it's a snake, and they're committing these crimes. Yes, you're right. It is based off a series of books. Mm-hmm. I like Day Shift with Jamie Foxx as the vampire hunter guy.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one. I kind of debated on that one, though.
It's worth it. I think there's a segment in it with these two brothers, the Nazarian brothers. That's really, they needed their own spinoff movie because that's the best part. Mm-hmm. I'm giving a shout out to Hocus Pocus 2. I don't think it's as good as the first one.
I didn't mind it. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Rebecca McKendry's Glorious. About it's kind of like a Lovecraftian cosmic horror set in a rest stop bathroom with some kind of evil force and is trapped in a stall, voiced by J.K. Simmons. That's worth checking out.
Is it a evil cosmic parasitic poopy?
No. And Christmas Story Christmas was a follow-up that was just keep being as good as it was. And
yeah, that was good. It was excellent.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Enjoying that one a lot. It felt like the tone of the original movie to me. Just that he happened to be in a grown-up adventure, really. So
right.
I tell Chad I laugh every time with what happened to his daughter, though. I just can't help but crack up with that scene.
I'm guessing you're talking about the snowball scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And one that most people hate, I'm pretty sure both of you guys hate. I enjoyed it because I don't hold these movies in the highest regard anyway. And that is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think what they tried necessarily worked, especially with bringing back the Sally character. But I didn't care. I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't going to make the list, but it was going to make an honorable mention for me.
Moist.
It was a very moist film.
I don't even know if I would use that.
No, I know. But I'm in the minority on Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, it was dog shit too.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Such wasted opportunity. Anyway.
Oh yeah, the one I thought about too. I didn't think about it until just now. I enjoyed the new Hellraiser movie. That was a fun one.
Yeah, we should have brought. Yeah. I didn't mind that one.
I haven't watched that one yet either, so that's why.
That's good.
You got to support my man Clive Barker.
And what's her? Jamie Clayton.
Jamie Clayton, yeah.
was so good. Yeah, I love the designs of the Cenobites in this one too.
They're not as moist though as the original.
I like what they did with this one. It's different because I think it's more design, in turn. I think it's more with what the books may have had described as Cenobites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because like the clothing is of skin in this one.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in the original it's leather. So, but it's still that creepy kind of bondagey looking design,
but only Clive Barker. But the thing is, the only thing I hate about when they try to adapt Clive Barker stories is that his work is so unapologetic when you read it that there's no way that you can translate it faithfully to film because it would never be allowed to be shown. It would never be allowed to be shown like to big audiences. So that's the only downer. But I mean, it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, that's the beauty about things now too, is that I think there's a lot more opportunity for filmmakers to show what they want to show in terms of even how they can distribute it. They don't have to depend on a big company to distribute it, and nor do they have to do it theatrically, even though I think every filmmaker would love to have their shit on the silver screen. There's no question about it. But some theaters will probably do it, some of your smaller theaters and stuff, but there's opportunity out there, I think, more so now in order to show what you want to show.
I agree, and I didn't bring it up at the time, but look, I'll use Terrifier 2 as an example. That was a movie that got a one-night screening at first, and the demand was so high, it just kept getting put into more and more theaters.
Nice,
and when you watch this movie, you guys will understand. You'll go, I cannot believe this movie played in a regular chain theater. Like, it's insane when you watch it to think that this was playing on a big screen all over the country at one point.
So yeah, there was a lot of good film this year. There was, but I also feel like there wasn't as much as there normally used to be pre-pandemic. So. But I think we're trying to get there, in a way. I think we're trying to catch up, but it's just going to take time.
Yeah, I'm not going to say there wasn't. I'm going to say it's, like you said, it's not as easy to see anymore.
Yeah.
It's not as accessible to see a lot of the bigger movies. Like I know Tar's out on Blu-ray now, so you can at least check that out if you want, because it's available to buy.
And you can only get that online too, believe it or not. You can't even get that like at a Best Buy or Target or Walmart. They only have the DVD.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I saw it in Walmart, but I didn't look at it, so it might have been the DVD. Okay.
Yes, that's what I read up on. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, so the Blu-ray is exclusive to online retailers or something, and the 4K.
That's ridiculous. I didn't know that. So, real quick before we get out of here. And you may or may not have an answer. Is there anything you're looking forward to in the next year? Like, do you have a title or two that you know is coming? Like, for me, I got two.
I will say, right now, the only thing I can say at the moment, just off the top of my head, is I like Scream that came out this year. It was pretty fun. It was a nice homage, I think, also to the original. So I guess in a way, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this next one, because it's going to be really different. They're also setting it in New York. We're not going to have Sydney back in this one, so I guess I'm just wondering how they're going to change everything. And not that I'm opposed to it as well, because I think Sydney's story and her relation to the character, the Scream Face character or whatever, it's been played out so many times. It's been done in many ways. What else is there to really tell? She's overcome so much, so I'm definitely interested to see a different direction.
Okay. Chad, you know of anything?
Transformers, Rise of the Beasts.
Okay.
I just think of that one because that was the last trailer I watched on YouTube. I know they got the Ant-Man movie coming out, which I'm kind of on the fence about.
I'm looking forward to that one, actually. Yeah, no, I can't think of what.
Oh no, you're throwing me a curveball here, Josh.
Yeah, you're right. For me personally, I
didn't prepare.
I got two that I'm really looking forward to, and that, of course, is anytime Martin Scorsese comes out with something new, I'm interested. So, Killers of the Flower Moon. It was supposed to originally come out this past year.
Is that a gangster movie? Another gangster movie?
Yeah, something like that. So.
Right up his alley, then, basically. Okay, I can feel it. I can dig it. Yeah.
Actually, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm guessing it's a gangster movie because I haven't even looked at anything it's about. I don't care because I'm gonna check it out. It's Leo and it's De Niro.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm sold.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Actually, it kind of looks. Oh, it's about FBI and J. Edgar Hoover.
Okay, well, there you go. Oh, Leo played J. Edgar Hoover.
He did.
Yeah, I think he's looking to avenge that role because I've heard that's not a very good role for him, but I haven't seen that. But the other one is Ari Aster's latest. It's gonna have Joaquin Phoenix. It was called Disappointment Boulevard. Now it's called Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
once again, the movie I don't know anything about, but Ari Aster's involved, so I'm sold.
Yeah. It should be. It should be. Traumatizing.
Well, the other thing that just came on Netflix recently, I want to check out actually, Matilda the musical.
Oh yeah. I heard that's pretty good though.
I want to actually see that one. I like the original Matilda when I was a kid, so
yeah, it might be worth. It'd be something that I probably end up checking out at some point.
I'm not really a musical person, but I'd watch Matilda the musical.
Yeah, Miss Trunchbull back in there, and she even does the hair whip thing where she like tosses that kid and stuff. Yeah,
I think it's Emma Thompson, isn't it?
Oh, it's Mrs. Trunchbull? Really? Is that her?
I
oh
think
my god!
so.
If that's the case, she looks so different.
I think it is. I might be wrong.
So different. But yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Oh.
But I just look forward to seeing good film. That's all.
Me too.
I just want to have fun. I want my inspiration and creativity flowing from film coming out next year, and I look forward to a very successful year for film. That's what I hope for it, and go because that's why we do this, right? We love film.
Yep, that's it.
Aren't they bringing out the Joker sequel next year too?
Is that next year?
I don't know. I forget.
I
know they're filming.
I know they're filming it.
Okay. I don't know if that'll be out next year or not. So if it is, I'll look forward to that. So
come out, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. So Chad, tell everybody where you're not available and the one place you are available.
I'm not really available anywhere. I mean, you can find me, I guess, on Letterboxd, Green Screen Grin. I'm there.
Boo. And then outside the podcast universe, you can be my friend at Instagram at Xtopher of Oz, or Twitter, which I'm using here and there, and that's CBC Monkey, and Letterboxd. You can find me through Chat or Josh.
And what about you, Josh? Where can they find you?
The easiest thing is I'm actually still most active on Twitter, and that's YNF Movie Pod. So follow me there. You can go to linktr.ee/YNF Movie Pod and find other places. I think I still have an Instagram there, but I don't use that anymore. But it has my Letterboxd. It has the YouTube channel that I put some of this content on, and other podcasting platforms. So yeah, check that out. As for us,
what about
we'll
your
be back.
OnlyFans?
No, I don't have that, Chad. I'm not that dire need yet.
They have a feet website.
Oh God, Chad.
Find feet or whatever it's called.
YNF
Only feet.
No. I don't have next favorite feet. No. As for us, you can check us out in a couple weeks. We will be back and we will be talking about our best new discoveries. So movies that we discovered this past year that didn't come out this past year. Had to corral Chad into not putting movies from 2022 on that list.
Now look, I misunderstood the assignment, okay?
How can you misunderstand it?
Because I'm a simpleton, Chris.
But until then, you guys take care and we will talk to you next time.